Another question came about early extension. So early extension is, we'll just use that term, is the look when you coming down where the hips and the pelvis go in this way, the chest gets farther from the ball, and then the arms lengthen. So you're extending, right, this way early is the idea there. Fixing early extension was the question, how to do it. There's a lot of different ways to do it. The point I want to make is the people that I've seen here with early extension, the fix or the improvement is much more about adding something rather than getting rid of the early extension. So all early extension is, right, if I'm extending too much this way, instead of kind of keeping my posture, the best ball strikers that look really good, like they're kind of have their lines, they all extend just as much. They just don't do it this way. They turn first and then they do it this way. So if here's my target, they turn first and then they do the extension. So they're still doing the extension just as much as the early extenders. That's an important point. They both have the same amount of extension. They're both extending a lot. The better players are just typically doing it out here, whereas the early extenders, me included, are doing it more this way. So what's the difference? Well, the biggest difference is they have rotated. They have more rotation, if you will. They rotated first, and then they kick out more. So how do you fix it? Well, like I said, I wouldn't try and go the route of trying to get rid of early extension. You can, and it works for some pieces. What I would do is I would add. So what would I add? Well, what did we just say? People who don't early extend, they extend later, they rotate first. So I would add rotation. So I would have my body lines more open. That would be the first thing I would do. Add rotation, keep the extension, just do it out here. You can add bends too. So the other thing, right, if I'm early extending too much this way, the opposite of that would be maintaining forward flexion. So I would keep sort of my hips back, chest down for the longest period of time, like we call it the 90-year-old man swing like this. So that works for some people. You maintain the feeling of forward extension forever, and then eventually you kick out. Whereas an exaggeration, you can keep the forward bend forever. Kind of the butt on the chair thing. I've done all that stuff before. It depends on the person, but the main point I think is maybe not the best idea, unless it works for you, getting rid of the extension, add something in. Rotation, add forward bend, add pieces to get rid of that early extension look, and realize that someone who early extends doesn't have more extension than someone who looks better on camera. They just do it earlier versus the other guys rotate first and then they do it later, more towards the target.